Well, thanks for visiting us this morning at KTALnews.com and your Weather Authority app. I'm meteorologist Josh Marces, and this is your Tuesday morning forecast update. So we did have potential round one of severe weather late last night. Had a tornado watch, which was canceled at 11 p.m. there, but we did have a few storms just kind of brush the very northern edge of the Arklatex, but happy to say we made it through that round without seeing any kind of significant weather in the Arklatex. That said, our threat of seeing some strong to severe storms in all areas will start to ramp up later today. We have two more rounds of potential severe weather, the first of those arriving late this afternoon, this evening, and the second round expected tomorrow. So the severe weather setup for us today, we do have a slight risk of severe storms. That's kind of our standard severe weather outlook, a level 2 on the 1 to 5 scale, so it means scattered severe storms will be possible. And the environment is such today that we could see wind, tornadoes, and hail, so what we would call kind of an all modes of severe weather threat for us. Wind would be the main threat, but we can't rule out some large hail as well as a few tornadoes. And those storms we're looking at maybe anywhere between 4 p.m. and midnight tonight. We move into the day tomorrow. We have that strong cold front that's forecast to move in, and much like we saw a few weeks ago, those storms are really strengthen once they get closer to the Texas and Louisiana border. So we'll probably see some storms in the morning here in the slight risk area tomorrow, and then once we get into the afternoon, the storms will really start to explode here once they move into Arkansas and Louisiana, and that will probably be in the late morning, early afternoon. So that's the second round of potential storms here, and our storms today will be arriving from over here in central Texas. We still have this frontal boundary to the north of us. There's actually a dry line, which is kind of the air mass where you have the dry air in central and west Texas, and then we have that warm, humid air here in the Arklatex. That dry line can often be the trigger for severe storms, and that's what we're expecting later today. The heat will play a factor as well. You warm those temperatures, and we become more conducive for severe weather as well, so the ingredients all starting to come together. Very warm this morning, low 70s. The humidity is very high as well, and we continue to have that breezy south wind, which is just adding those fuel to those thunderstorms, which will be the humidity and the warm air today. Likely headed into the low 80s, but we will see some rain pop up early this afternoon, which will probably hold us in the low 80s today as opposed to the mid and upper 80s we've had for the past few days. So taking a look at your Robbins Toyota Futurecast, you'll notice noon today we do have some showers, maybe some isolated storms popping up. Now, none of this through 4 p.m. is expected to be severe, but once we get to 4 p.m., very well could see some storms out here in Oklahoma and Texas, and Futurecast right now is showing the arrival of those storms closer to sunset, maybe in that 7 to 8 p.m. window, but you want to give yourself a few hours either way. These will be the storms here that are capable of all those severe weather hazards, but notice they do fizzle a bit once we get closer to midnight. So I think once we get to midnight, we can probably close the door on round one for potential severe weather. We'll get a break for much of the early morning on Wednesday, but here come the storms again. So these storms that fire up in the morning, just given all the conditions that we have that are favorable for severe weather, we can't rule out maybe a severe storm or two here in the morning. But once we hit the afternoon, these will be the storms to watch here, and Futurecast does show the storms kind of ramping up late morning, early afternoon. So these would be the storms here capable of all those severe weather hazards tomorrow, but they scoot through pretty quickly. I think Futurecast is actually sped up a few hours from what we were showing you for the past 2 days. That's a good thing for us. The quicker we can get the storms through here, the temperatures won't warm up as much, so we're hoping we can get the storms through quickly, but we should see that severe weather threat come to an end, I would say, by 4 or 5 p.m. in most areas Wednesday afternoon. Look at the rainfall here. Since we will see 2 rounds of storms, we could see a decent amount of rain in some spots, but given that we didn't see a lot of rain with the storms last night, at this point we'll probably avoid any kind of flash flooding threat in most areas, but we could still see an additional inch or two, maybe the isolated spot that does pick up 2 to 3 inches of rain if you get a few strong thunderstorms here tonight as well as tomorrow. Rain will wrap up late Wednesday, so we'll get a nice break from the rain Thursday and most of the day Friday, but we have a warm front coming in this weekend, which will keep our Easter weekend temperatures pretty warm. Also the chance of a few thunderstorms there Saturday and Sunday. Low-end severe weather potential, but we're talking middle of April, which is kind of the peak of our severe weather season here, so we know some of the ingredients will probably be there. We can't rule severe weather in, can't rule it out at this point as well, so we'll keep you updated on that as we continue through the week.